So why is knowledge so important? And why is it so important to discern right from wrong, good from bad? How you doing, guys? Professor EDC with another BLADE-OSOPHY Sunday. And yeah, it's a pretty simple question, isn't it? We shouldn't even have to answer that question. Why is knowledge important? Why discernment is important? Well, let's go over a few things. First and most important of all, as a professor, and as many of you may know, I'm not, a professor just in YouTube. I'm a real life professor with over 20 years, 25 years of experience in different areas of teaching. And one of the most important things I can tell my students, as well as I have told many different parents along the way, is not to spoon feed children, not to spoon feed students. As I have taught other teachers, it's vital not to spoon feed. So I'm going to throw at you information. I'm going to throw at you questions to question yourself. Because we're not only talking about blades. Yes, the excuse and our activity and our hobby is collecting and is enjoying and being enthusiastic about the blade world, but that's not what this channel is about. So to have knowledge as to be able to recognize what we have in hand, not just a folder, not just a backlog, but the materials that it's constituted with, if it has a shield or not, the materials, the work on the bone, the color, the quality of the bone, of the materials, how well it's assembled, the quality of the steel, the symmetry of the blade. Things that are going to determine one way or another the quality of that piece, the quality of that blade. Now, we may have a more renowned blade house such as this, and yet that does not translate into quality or quality control, as we see in this beautiful, beautiful design. But can you see that imperfection? Again, we turn into the quality control, the non-existent quality control of Boker. I don't know what's going on there, but and don't get me wrong, I love this design, but at the same time, I'm also able to see all of the imperfections. Look at that edge. It's all crooked out of fabric, out of the company. It's all crooked. How it's put together. Too many screws. These two screws in the carbon fiber are absolutely unnecessary. And, well, great design, awful execution. Nonetheless, I still keep in my collection because I really, really love the design. Look at that, how slim it is. Titanium feels good. The carbon fiber looks good. these two screws are absolutely unnecessary. Really, you're not gonna take this apart, because just tightening the screws is a miracle. But anyways, these are things that it's important for us to recognize as not just collectors, but rather consumers, buyers. To recognize that craftsmanship, how well polished it is. Yeah, there are a few things that we can see, and it's important for us to recognize that it's not all that well put together. You know, the precision that is put together, the gaps between materials. Is it, how's the performance? It's great, really. Great looking blade. But at the same time, you know, there are those imperfections, right? The gaps, right? And it's a matter of trying to be more objective. Yeah, we are all subjective when it comes to our opinions, yet information, or the information we gather, is or we should try for that information when we study to be objective. Again, this antique materials, but how well is this put together? Well, let's talk about the symmetry in the blade. Yeah, can you see how crooked it is? How this side is different than this one? Not centered, not perfectly centered. Now, some people may say that we can exaggerate, and I don't think so. I think it's a matter of just trying to be objective. You see, I can see the defects or the weaknesses of each of the blades that you have on the table. But at the same time, all of these blades are part of my collection, meaning that apart from those weaknesses, they are great blades, and I keep them. Now, it's important to see that although some may look even more well assembled and with apparent with no apparent defects, well, it is a cheaper knife than many of the ones that are here. Not because something may look a bit cheaper. It means that it is so. The performance of this blade in the open nail is second to none. And I mean, for cutting and slicing, of course, this is not a hard worker. But, and look at that patina. It's just beautiful. But that's something that we also learn to value when there is enough information, when there is knowledge about it. We may see something like this and perhaps even confuse a folder like this with a, hey, is that a custom backlock? No. This could be a gas station folder. It came along with another tool, with some pliers. It came along free. The only thing is that I polished the bolsters, and I had to glue some of this, what seems to be wood, but look at the gaps between the steel and the wood, and just really so many defects. But at the same time, I love the blade shape of this thing. It's just beautiful. But that's not going to make it elevate or increase the price of it. I just tuned it up a little bit, and it still works, and it's the edge doesn't last long, but it's just a nice blade, and I just love the blade shape, and that's why I keep it. But if you don't know, then somebody might take advantage. And I say this because, as I was mentioning before, we're not just talking about blades. We can take this, what we are seeing here, what we are learning here, to our lives, and to make a decision, we need information, and we need to discern good from bad, best from worst, etc., etc. We can apply it to our relationships, to our jobs, to the way we vote. To governments of the past and present. You know, when we talk about government, elections, well, we may have two of the same, or so they seem, but there are differences. And we need to be able to discern, to know the differences, and perhaps choose the less worst one, or the best one. Now, as to which is the best, that's going to depend on the knowledge you have and what you're able to discern. Because they may look the same, but there are substantial differences. And we go back again to those small defects. This had to learn how to polish carbon fiber, because this carbon fiber came with huge defects on it, and I just had to learn how to work with it, how to work with what I had in hand. But at the same time, I can also recognize how well this is put together. And of course, be able to recognize the defects when it has a defect. But definitely, even though they look the same, they are not the same. And that's how information is going to help us. Being able to discern one thing from the other. A certain finish in the steel, a certain shield, or bone, or configuration of blades. So in life, we can use this information, and we can make that transfer Because we are not just talking about blades. This ability, this skill, we can use for our benefit and the benefit of others in the rest of our lives. It all depends how conscious you are of it. It all depends if you're interested in learning more. It all depends on your take on it. Professor EDC out.